Aloha, Richard Halverson here. This is ICS321, and today is October 7th. And let me share my screen. And see, where are we? We're around here. We're in chapter 3 still. And so let's see where we left off last time. Let me look at the where we are on the playlist. Garden Glory Database, Lab 3.4. Did I not? Is that all I did last time? Garden Glory? Yeah, I remember. Yeah. I guess I never opened up the textbook. All right. Well, what did I? Okay, so. All right, so nobody's here. Okay. 3 point. Where did I go in chapter 3 last time? Three 3.3. .4. Oh, is that what we did? Oh, 3.4 is a lab. I see. That's what we did. Okay, great. So let's go to the textbook and go to 3.5. 3. What's this mean? 3.5. I didn't do 3.5. No. All right. Alter movie table. I didn't do 3. Okay. All right. Movie table has the following columns. Write alter statements to make the following modifications to the movie table. You want to add producer column with varchar that. Oh, gee whiz. So we want to add and remove, and we want to change, and we're altering. Was I altering here already? Creating, altering, okay. All right, this is what I'm after. So I'm gonna reference. How's that? All right. And let's go back to 3.5. And so the first thing I want to do is to write I want to add a producer column. So I'm going to add column, alter table. Alter table movie, add producer varchar 50. Okay, so that's add producer. And what I want to see what happens when I do this. I got 3 out of 10 because the producer was added The genre was not removed. So these weren't done, but the first one was done. So it looks like we got the first one right. Well, what's the second one we got to do? Remove the genre. That would be just drops a column. So that would be alter table movie drop genre. So anyway, you can do the last one. So now we got 6 points because genre was removed, it looks like. All right, so let's move on. Okay, now we're going to talk about primary and foreign key constraints. And I kind of I ordered this chapter at the beginning of the semester. It didn't used to be ordered this way. So sometimes I can't remember if we've talked about these before, but I think in assignment 2 we had to do this. So, but anyway, it's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. So a primary key constraint, a constraint is a rule that applies. A constraint is a rule that applies to table data. And so constraints are specified in the create table and also in the alter table. A primary key is it's a column. It's either one column or more than one column that is used. It's used to uniquely identify each role. There may be more than one way to uniquely identify each row, but and all of those ways would be candidate keys, but we choose one of them and we call that the primary key. So that's what the primary key is. So in this example here, we've got a table called employee, and the primary key here would be this ID field. Now, in this other table here called family, we have these are the family members of employees, and so an employee may have more than one family member. So in this table we've got an ID field here for the employee plus another field here for we number the family members, and so so that's how this works. Maria has 3 family members, 1, 2, and 3, whereas Lisa has 2. So and this is how you specify them. So make sure you understand this. Auto increment. We did auto increment. Okay, so this is a way to. It's nice if the primary key doesn't mean anything other than it's a unique value. Okay, because then you're not inclined to ever have to want to change it, or like if it's the social security number, that's a way to identify an employee, and maybe you don't want to have the social security number be out there, and possibly somewhere, because we see that that's the primary key of the employee and so on. So auto increment is a way where we let the database keep track of the primary key, and whenever there is a new record added, the database just takes the next number and plops that in there for the key. And so generally when you're adding to the table, you don't put anything for that field, and you let the database just choose the next number. So that's this auto increment field, and that's used a lot. 4 employees were added to the employees table, which has an auto incrementing ID column. Place the employee rows in the order in which the employees were most likely added to the table. Well, you know, and so auto increment is going to start at 1. And then each time you add in a new record, it's just going to take the next number, which is the next number up. So, you know, Susan was probably the first one. And Juan was probably the second one. And this is the third one. And this is the fourth one. All right, so a foreign key constraint is it's a field in a table that represents the primary key of another table. So here in this table, we have a table called department, and each department has a manager, and a manager is always an employee. It's not a robot. It's somebody that's in the employee table. And so what we've done here is we've made the manager field, the manager ID field, be the actual employee ID number. Okay, so in engineering, the manager is employee number 2538. And we look over here, and employee 2538 is Lisa. So that's manager ID is a foreign key which references the ID primary key field of employee. So this is how you would specify that. And here is creating, what does this do? Add the primary and foreign key constraints. Okay, so we have a table of albums, and we have a table of songs, and songs belong to an album. So we want so the primary key here is ID, and I don't know how to do it. Maybe this is how you do it. Yes. And let's see. This is going to be primary key is ID. And we have a foreign key, for EIGN key, and I don't, foreign key, album ID, references, album, parentheses, ID. So that's what I think it is. All right. ID, what doesn't it look like? At line 5, that's this ID doesn't like. I'm spelling something wrong. Yes, look at that. Spelling it wrong. How's that? All right, that's probably right. Okay, so the foreign key constraint must reference a primary key. I guess it's true. Yeah. Adding a foreign key constraint to a table affects inserting new rows into the table. Only affects no, because you can't insert adding a foreign key. Well, let's see. I'm going to say false. Inserting and updating rows are affected. Only affects inserting. Okay, yes, it affects updating too, because you might be changing something to you know, you want to you may change a song to a different album. Well, that album has to exist, kind of thing, and that's updating, not inserting. Okay, deleting. Actions can be specified on the foreign key constraint on delete and on update, and we talked about this. You have to specify whether you're gonna if you try to delete a, let's say you try to delete what is this example? Manager causes the database to delete row when the employee is deleted. Okay, so let's say you have this table here and you're going to delete Gary Smith. So you can either restrict, and you say, well, no, you can't delete Gary Smith because Gary Smith is referred to or is referenced over in the department table. Okay, so you try to delete Gary Smith and it just doesn't let you. You go to the delete motions of deleting it, and Gary Smith is still there. Or you can cascade. You can cascade your delete. In which case, if Gary Smith is deleted, then so is technical support. You can set null, which is Gary Smith is deleted, and then this field becomes null. Or you can have it set to some primary key value, I guess, or some default value, to a default primary key value. All right. Anyway, so that's how you gotta handle these deletes and updates. You have to specify what happens when it's affecting another row. All right. So here it tests your understanding of these parameters. On here, you're going to on delete. You're going to set it to null. Set the foreign key to null, and on update, you're going to cascade the change. And this makes sure you understand that. Dropping a key with foreign key constraints. Table foreign key constraints deleted first. Yeah, so there's an order that has to take place. Okay, so let's try to do one of these. Start. Okay, so complete the statement that creates the table. I guess I got to specify the primary key. Primary key, parentheses, ISO code 3. All right, looking good. Let's see what the next one is. complete the statement that creates the table. It's both of these together. Is that what that means? Let's see. Yes. Okay, anyway, so you can do that. You can do those. What's next? Oh, it's another lab. Create lesson schedule table with foreign key constraints. Okay, so we have two tables, creating two tables. ID and registered name for a horse, and students with an ID and a first name and a last name. And we're going to create a lesson schedule table. It's got a horse ID, a student ID, and a lesson date time. Okay, so horse ID. Okay, so we're creating another table here, I guess. Okay. Create table. Lesson schedule. Left paren. Horse ID. Horse ID is a integer. Is it like unsigned integer or something? Small int, okay, small int, unsigned, student ID is also small int, unsigned, and lesson date, lesson date time is a date time. Do I say not null? No. And then I gotta go primary. Why is it a partial primary key? Oh, it's because the horse, right? It's horse. Okay, so primary key is horse ID, comma, lesson date time. Got some foreign keys here. Foreign key course ID. References, what is it? References table. References the table, okay. References course ID. Okay. And then I gotta say foreign key student references student ID. Okay, let me just close this. And I'm gonna see what this looks like. I don't know how close I am. Let's see. Line 5. Line 5. Oh wait, line 15. Oh, I first of all spelled this wrong. That might have a lot to do with a lot of things. Let me just try this again. Line 15. Something's wrong with that. It's got to be common here. Okay, let's try it now. Okay, looks like we gotta have some restrict. We have to have some delete rules. Okay, we're expecting for the horse ID, we want the update, restrict, cascade, delete. And we do that by saying on delete, cascade, on delete. I'm just going to copy this. On delete. Where's the comma? I guess there's no comma. On update. Okay, on update. On update. On delete. Okay, on delete. Cascade. On update something. Okay, so the force ID is update is restrict. No, update is restrict, delete is cascade. Update is restrict. Okay, so that's that one. And then for the other one, it's restrict and set null. Delete is set null. On update restrict. Okay, let's see what this does. Well, look at that. It's that easy. It's that simple. All right. What's next? Column constraints. So all column tables except primary keys can contain null values by default. The not null constraint is used in the create table statement to prevent a column from having a null value. So if you try to insert something in there and you don't have a value for that, and there's no default, and it's not null, it won't let you insert it. The insert will fail. So which columns may contain null values? Well, the primary key is code, so that cannot. But name can contain a null value, and these two. So name and manager ID. Which alteration to the create table statement prevents manager ID from being null? Manager ID, which alteration? Wow, not sure. Not null comes after, so maybe it's this one. Yes. All right, default. When a row is inserted into a table, an unspecified value is assigned null by default, but you can have a default constraint which specifies what that default might be, what the default will be. So for example, let's say you have a date and you just say, and of course you want to have this if a field cannot be null, then you want to have a default also. So this shows you how you set defaults. This is how you set one for the date, and this is how you'd set one for a decimal number. What column values are null when inserting a row with code 999, but no specified name or manager? Which ones are null? I guess name and manager. So this is the one. Unique is a constraint that ensures that there's no two records, no two or more records that have the same value in a unique column. And so so anyway, so here, for example, we are saying that username is unique. So you know, this cannot be a valid record. And what else? Oh, unique name and extension. Name extension. 550. Oh, name and extension. Okay. Okay. So anyway, make sure you understand that. Check allows you to specify an expression that limits the range of column values. So you can do that. Like you can say have a date here, but you want to make sure that the date is within this range. If not, it won't allow you to insert the data. So there's a between operator here like this. You can do this. Use the in operator, set size, where size has got to be just one of these three values. It's very handy. Each row violates the department's check constraints or not. Okay, so we have a code, we have a name, we have a manager ID, we have an admin assistant, and we have a size which is not in this set. So this violates. Tiny. How about this one? Medium looks good. 82 looks good. Sales looks good. Small int. Is this not a small int? I don't know. Oh, this should be fine because this is fine. So I'm going to say this is okay. Oh, here, this constraint. Manager ID has to be greater than 1000 and not equal to the admin ID. So here, the manager ID is not greater than 1000. So that's why it violates it. So anyway, you know, I check that, make sure you understand that. So MySQL gives constraints a default name if no name is specified. A constraint can be given a name using the constraint keyword, so you can, you know, do it this way. You can name the constraint. All right, so make sure you understand that. I'm not sure when you'd use it. Okay, add a check constraint called org check that limits org check to these three things. So I don't know, I guess I'd say check. Constraint constraint that. Okay. Okay, so is this it? Oh, I forgot the word check. All right, there we go. Okay, well, anyway, it's kind of hard to read. Add a unique constraint called this. So it looks like this. Looks just like this. And we want it to be called this. And we want it to be name and manager ID is unique. I guess there should be a comma here. It's nearly correct. Oh, there's a comma here. That's why. Can't have two commas in a row. All right. So anyway, you can do those. Oh, a challenge activity. Let's do a challenge activity. I've got a create statement here, and which columns can contain null values? Well, let's see. What's the primary key? This is the primary key, so that cannot be. But it looks like this one can be. This one cannot be. Area cannot be. Continent can be. Name can be. And no, this cannot be. So over 65 can be. Then continent can be. Name can be. All right, check. Oh, that's good. What's next? A row is inserted into country with name Lilliput, but no other fields values are specified. What is Lilliput's area? It'd be 1.0. It's got a default. What's Lilliput's ISO code 3? I guess that would be AAA. What's Lilliput's population? Ooh, no. Say it's no. Well, you see what I did wrong. All right, you can fix that. What's next? Oh, another lab. All right. Create a horse table with constraints. Okay, so we're going to create a horse table with the following. Okay, so let's do this. Create table. Okay, I got a nice reference here. I'm just going to copy this. And I'm going to put it down here. Okay, create table horse. And I've got an ID, which is an integer. It's a small int. Small int, auto increment, You say auto increment? I think so. Yeah, that's how you say it. Gee, it looks just like this. We should copy this instead. Anyway, registered name. Maximum 15 characters. Not null. And then we have a breed. Breed is a varchar 20, which must be one of the following. So I gotta have a check thing, right? Check. How do I do that again? This is 8. Foreign key constraints. Check. Here we go. Check. I want one of those in, check in. Here we go. This. Something looks like that. Check breed. Size. Okay, that's smaller. Okay. So check breed in breed. In this. Oh, no. These. But these are other. Okay. And we have a height. Is a decimal. 3 digits. 3,1. Check height is greater than or equal to 10.0, and height is less than or equal to 20.0. Is that right? I think so. And birth date is a date. Check birth date is greater than or equal to 2015-01-. Primary key is ID, and we don't have any foreign key. So we don't need a comma here. All right. Well, I'm just going to see how close this is. Well, it looks like I did pretty good. All right, excellent. What's next? Inserting and deleting rows. We have an insert statement, which looks like this. Insert into a table, and then you list the columns. If the columns are all the columns, then you don't have to list that if it's all of them. And then the values, and it's this value goes into this column, this value goes into this column, dot dot dot, you know, and so on. So here we have insert into a table. These are the columns and values, and these are the values. You can do it this way, where you can do multiple records at a time. So put 3 of them in there. So which statement correctly inserts engineering? Insert into department, code name manager ID. Code is 44, name is engineering, manager ID is that. Code name manager ID, insert into department. Oh, well, it's this one. Which statement correctly inserts sales? Insert into department sales. It's going to be the name is the middle one. Oh, it's going to be this one. Name is the middle one. So anyway, do those. Common insert errors. This is a common error in inserting duplicate primary keys or foreign key values that do not match an existing primary key. Okay, so here we are making a mistake and inserting somebody who's already got that. So that would just be rejected. That would not be accepted. Here we are, if it's an auto increment field, then you do not put anything here. You actually name the fields, or you can put a null here, but don't put a number there. And here we're only inserting 2 columns: ID, name. What's the map? Oh, it's because this cannot be null. So you got to put something in there. Unless it's got a default value, which doesn't look like it does. All right, inserting rows into movie table. Okay, so here we've created a table, and we're supposed to write some insert statements. So I'm supposed to write some insert statements to insert these. Well, let's see. Insert into movie. No, comma, Raiders of the Lost Ark, comma, rating, PG, comma, release date, 1981-06-15. Okay, that's the first one. And we need another one. Another one. And this is going to be the Godfather. It's the Godfather. The Godfather. Rated R. And that was 1972. March 24. And this one's the pursuit of happiness. Can I do this? Copy, pursuit of happiness, PG-13, and 2006 dash 12 dash 15. All right, clearly does not like this. Oh, values. Okay, let's switch, put that there. How's that? All right, looks like it worked. Let's see. Common insert errors. We still doing these? Which statement correctly? Didn't I do these already? Insert into. Okay. Insert into department code engineering manager ID. Let's insert into department. Oh, auto increment. This one. All right, update statement. Here, this is the form of the update statement. You use the update, the name of the table, then you have a set, the word set, and then you have name, column equals value, column equals value, and so on, where, and a condition. So you could be updating one thing, in which case you're identifying a primary key, or you could be updating a bunch of records that fit the where clause. So here we're supposed to update, change the title from one to with or without you. So you can say 3 update statements. Okay, update song set title equals something where title equals something update song set artist equals where artist equals. Okay, now what they really want is you to use the primary key, but I'm going to see if it'll work if I use the thing I'm updating. It should work. Update song set release year equals 2021, where release year greater than 1990. So I don't know if this is gonna work. Oh, I gotta fill these. So I'm changing from this to this. Changing from this to this. So I spell Aretha. All right, see if this what this does. I don't know. I don't know if it worked or not. All right. Well, anyway, let's see. Well, it's after 2:30, and so you should go through and make sure you understand these. You're going to get to learn these, know these pretty well. Fill in the blanks. The delete statement. Understand how the delete statement works. You just have to name the table and then the primary key or anything which identifies the criteria for what you want to delete. Here you want to delete a bunch of people within a range of salaries and so on. This will delete everything from the employee table. And truncate is just a quick way to delete all the rows from the table. So you know, in MySQL, truncate also resets the auto increment value back to 1, but delete does not. So let's see. Why don't we do one of these? Refer to the column information. Okay, let's just start this. Complete the state insert. I want to insert this and that. Okay, insert the ISO code of values. KG. The name is KYRGYZSTAN, and the population is 632,800. Okay, so we've got the ISO code 2, which is this, the population is this, which is that, and the name is in the middle, it's that. All right, is this right? Yes. All right, anyway, so good, you can do the rest. So we ended at 3:10, and hope this helps. See you next time. Thanks for watching.